All right, so we just gonna get right into this. As you see the caption, a Southern Wayne High School teacher, one Mr. Hunter Alexander Graham, has been charged and arrested with the crime of indecent liberties with a student. Now, Mr. Hunter Graham is a social studies teacher in at the school of Southern Wayne High School in Goldsboro, North Carolina. You see the picture of him in the thumbnail, and I'm reading from an article in the Goldsboro Daily News, just to give you a little bit of confirmed information, not alleged. Well, I mean, I guess the charge, you can say the charge was alleged. But it says on November the 3rd, faculty at Southern Wayne received information about an inappropriate relationship between a social studies teacher, Hunter Grantham, and a current student at the school. Wayne County Sheriff Office detectives responded to the Southern Wayne High School and began their investigation. Now that's on November the 3rd, so I guess the investigation took about 4 days. This article was written on the 7th, 2 days ago. Today is the 9th. It says, during the investigation, detectives determined that an inappropriate teacher-student relationship did occur and had been ongoing for several months. And I'll stop right there. This investigation concluded that this was just not a momentary slip up or, a once in a lifetime indiscretion. It's apparent that Mr. Hunter Grantham allegedly was in a relationship with this student for several months. Now, it doesn't say whether the student was a male or a female. But as a result of the information learned, reading from the article, during the course of the investigation, Grantham was charged with indecent liberties with a student. Now, I have heard of the charge indecent liberties with a minor, also indecent liberties with a child, but this is my first time hearing of the charge indecent liberties with a student, which somehow, may allege that, the student may have been over 18, or that may be some way of reducing the charges against the 24-year-old Mr. Grantham. It says Grantham was taken into custody and held at the Wayne County Detention Center without bond pending his first appearance before a district court judge. And the article confirms after his first appearance, Grantham received an $8,000 secured bond, and the investigation is ongoing. Now, $8,000 seems a little lenient, in my opinion, for someone who has been charged with teaching and upholding, certain moral and ethical standards, especially when it related to students or children or minors. I think that bond is a little light. However, I'm not in that capacity to make that decision. But the article still continues to read, Wayne County Public Schools confirmed that Grantham resigned effective immediately on November the 3rd. So evidently, soon as the investigation started, as soon as the sheriff department got wind, Mr. Grantham was probably fired or forced to resign to save face. He resigned effectively on November the 3rd, and he had been only employed since August of last year. And that's 2022. And I will read this pretty much blanket statement from the Wayne County Public Superintendent, School Superintendent, Dr. Mark Wickard. Of course, I call him Dr. Mark Whitecard, but you have to watch a previous video to get that inside joke. But it says all WCPS employees are expected to maintain the highest professional, moral, and ethical standards in their interactions with students. While we are limited in what we can say, of course, As this is a personnel matter, we can say that the school district takes any concerns about inappropriate relationships or conduct by staff very seriously. We appreciate the Wayne County Sheriff Office for its support with this matter, and the article ends. Now, I didn't read the News Argus article, but their title is a little different. It says former Southern Wayne teacher, arrested and accused of the inappropriate or charged with indecent liberties with a student. Now, this article, just by the tagline, gives the impression that this teacher worked there years ago. But in context, this teacher only resigned on the 3rd when the investigation started, when his actions became public. So, while giving the impression that this man no longer worked at the school when these things were occurring, that is not the case in this manner. Nevertheless, everyone is always innocent until proven guilty. As one who has been through a similar situation myself, I definitely don't want to pass judgment on this young man. Of course, a lot of people is gonna come and say, okay, he's innocent until proven guilty, and some people may confirm, that his behavior has been intentional, willful, or malicious, and others may confirm that he's a great guy with a good family and he just made a mistake. So we're going to get both of those things from all sides. If anybody got some information regarding this, you can call me 919-587-7782. But the title of the charge, once again, is a little ambiguous because indecent liberties with a student. Once again, it doesn't say minor, so I guess that's one thing in his favor. Men messing with kids is definitely frowned upon. If he goes to prison, he would definitely probably be in protective custody, if not, daily assaulted himself. Being in prison frown real frownly. Just made up a word on that. But maybe it was a student who was once again a senior, maybe over the age of 18, and he was only 24, which is not condoning it. So he's still, once again, it sounds like I'm condoning it, but I'm just trying to give a balanced assessment because I no way condone this. I think the bond is too light, but his maturity level may have been on that high school level. Nevertheless, doesn't excuse his behavior. And I had to look up indecent liberties with the child. So the legal definition is a situation in which a person who is over the age of 16 and at least 5 years older than a child takes or attempts to take any immoral liberties with a minor under the age of 16. So now that's indecent liberties with a child. So he's not charged with that. Let's go with indecent liberties with a student. Taking indecent. Okay, well, this is a Class F felony. So they don't show any distinction between indecent liberties with a student or a child. So maybe once again that headline or that charge may have been attached to Mr. Grantham once again to make his charge less malicious. Mr. Grantham is a resident, I think, of Newton Grove. But once again, this is definitely disturbing to me because if you know me, I am a very forthright advocate for the children, especially young children. And being my recent denial of the opportunity to volunteer in the schools, this is very telling. Where Dr. Wickchard or Whitecard, would deny my volunteer application, but yet and still he has teachers acting in this kind of matter with the student, and once again releases the blanket press release statement that was probably handwritten by someone else. So I don't take any of that very seriously. But this remains to be seen. We're going to keep an eye on this situation. Normally, things like this are very um, discouraged. In the community is very condemned, and I definitely condemn his actions if it is true. But we're going to keep an eye on this. But once again, if you haven't heard about it, if your child goes to Southern Wayne, you may want to talk to the administration about what they intend to do to protect their children. And once again, if this is an ongoing relationship, 6 or several months, where were the other people in the administration, or people who are supposed to be watching out for these things? It's unbeknownst to me. But there you have it. 24-year Hunter Graham, Southern Wayne social studies teacher, was going above and beyond, or above and below, beneath and below. That's a better phrase of his duties as a representative of the school system. So I wonder what the great superintendent Dr. Mark Wichard, who only started in August himself of this year, if I'm not mistaken, or July, has to say about this. And while they were, I was told about an event where the sheriff Larry Pierce and some other personnel was at an event at Carver Heights, a school that is doing terribly in reading and math. They were at this school event walking through the garden that they have somehow made. And instead of making a garden, let's get some better tutors. Let's get some better curriculum. Let's get some extra books or whatever it is. Let's it's. I'll just leave that there. I think I'm going to do a whole segment on that. But yeah, this morning, they had a whole walkthrough of a garden with the sheriff and probably some school board personnel and, some news and everything. But while the children, only 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 4 children are performing math and reading at a proficient level. So that is total, counterproductive activity to me, to be focused on beautification projects rather than the educational system. But also, while they're out doing this, they have teachers out there, Netflix and chilling, evidently, with students. But nevertheless, I'm Richard Taylor. My number, 919-587-7782. If you want to shed some light on this situation, my line is always open. Peace and blessings.